Games. It is Michael Phoenix joined by John X Fire. John, how the hell do you feel today?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, Mike. I had a decent breakfast. It's nice and, well, it was nice and overcast. Now it's sunny again, so it's all freaking warm. But what can you do? It's Southeast Asia, you know?
Indeed, I do, John. I've been to Southeast Asia before on my honeymoon. It was humid as fuck, to say the least, John, and quite disgusting in Singapore with that humidity. I didn't enjoy it. John, if you may, you stated to me you weren't a big fan of starting items. Would you like to expand on that thought?
Yeah, it's mainly like, yeah, take a look at this puck. Uh, Tango, two mangoes. No, Tango, two branches, and building up to a null wand. I
It's
know. The standard offlane is really now. To be fair, I don't play anything like puck in the offlane, but standard offlane build is two sets of tangos, maybe two mangoes, or just one mango and a salve. Or three mangoes, it depends. But usually it's mango stacking, so you can spam out your spells and have a little lane regen.
no, I'd agree with you. I This is a very old school way of doing it. It feels, rushing the null, getting one set of tangos. I mean, Puck is one of those elusive heroes, but early on in the game, it is questionable, John, because you phase shift. You generally get it maybe at level 2, maybe at level 3. But I agree with you. You're not going to be able to evade a lot of the damage that's going to come out. And, well, it's going to be a question of whether Emperor can actually sustain the lane like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough time. And you look at the Magnus as well. He went with a stout tango and two branches and a fairy fire. It's really, in my opinion, it's not great because you're gonna go through six tangos for the most part.
Yeah, I would agree with you, John. I'm not a big fan myself. We'll see how they go, though. I mean, at the very least, on the Dire end, it appears there will be a dual lane going on for the off lane. So Yizhu and Jelly will be helping each other out. I mean, we can't say as much for Emperor on the off lane. And John, as you were saying, that look at his health right now. He's going to have to go use these tangos, but ultimately, I think he might just have to go back to the base. Because those tangos aren't even going to get him to full HP like this.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be able to regen through all that damage with just one tango left. He's gonna be zoned out really hard in this lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chris is doing a great job on the Jakiro, not actually allowing him within that range of the XP. So he's literally had one creep killed and gotten the XP for that. He's getting nothing else right now. He's up to full HP. He did bring a salve out, John, but again, I think he's going to struggle like this because Chris is not leaving him alone. That salve has now been completely wasted by Emperor. He's back to 0 HP basically with nothing. No XP, no gold. So yeah, this lane's a bit of a write-off for the Puck. No doubt about that. Sunstrike will actually end up missing. But nevertheless, the Dire has definitely won out that lane. John, I'd like to direct your attention toward the mid lane though. We have an SF versus Invoker matchup. And it appears that matchmaking is Lava is struggling quite a lot in this lane against the Invoker right now.
Yeah, he's not having a good time fit, and I don't know. I feel like SF shouldn't struggle this hard against an Invoker, especially early on. You should be able to trade right clicks fairly easily enough.
We did see a first blood at bot lane, and it looks like they'll go for more, but Yizhu is too close to the tier 1 tower. But yeah, you were saying that the SF should be able to trade a bit.
Yeah, definitely, especially with raises. Like, if he just uses it at the right time on the wave and Invoker, not the easiest task, but still possible. Should be able to trade just fine. And the last hits, he's not trailing behind, but he's copped a bit more in harass against the Invoker than he probably should have.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, well, actually, Jelly finds a kill at the bot lane, but I was saying, generally speaking, like, with the Invoker, he's got a really low attack or right-click damage, unless you go the Exor build, which he is doing, but he does appear to be using that Forge Spirit quite effectively to make sure that Lava can't actually get close to the creeps. So, I mean, I would agree that he has to force out those raises, but right now, I mean, he is out of mana. He's got a clarity in the fountain, but the courier is kind of busy right now, so he's going to struggle a bit. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what this mid lane is going to be like. It does appear as well that one of the mid laners, the Invoker, is actually a Twitch streamer. So we should shout out 144 Dota. Never watched him myself. Maybe we'll watch him after this, John, but, you know, shout out to him. He's probably the one who handed this replay in. I don't exactly know. But shout out to him, John.
Yeah, definitely. He's having a good time against this SF, to say the least.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. It's a bit scary as well. I mean, you give this much space to the Invoker. It can get a bit overwhelming if you're not very careful about this. Because once you have the Midas, things start to escalate. And actually, bot lane, Yizhu going to get jumped on right now. In is there. He misses the chains, though. And now the skewer back, but the root is there. Yizhu, he will end up dropping. Now Jelly as well will drop. And that's a double kill going to in. So this Ember Spirit, with this tri-lane, he's having a great time at that bot lane.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's getting some nice hero gold from that, especially since he gets the last hit in both. I think the one thing they're really sacrificing in this bot lane is XP. They're really not getting too much from this tri-lane. I mean, all 3 heroes are currently level 3.
They're going again. Yizhu is getting very low. And In is diving for this. I don't know about this one. This is very dangerous. Sunstrike will come in. It is onto the Ember, though, and they will find that kill. Now, it looks like the Dark Willow will go for more. She will find Jelly, but there is support coming in from Chris to try and help out. Curse Crown is there as well. Yizhu still trying to get this, and actually the Dark Willow LOL is having a tough time. He will end up dropping. And now actually the Sand King as well. He might drop after this, and it looks like he will. Yizhu picks that one up. And John, I mean, the overextension coming out from the side of the Radiant, that was massive.
Yeah, it really was. It was a bit greedy for Int main to go in like that, and he whiffed a slight fist, but it's a bit greedy to dive that deep in, especially with something like an Ember Spirit who doesn't really have a good HP pool. Although he has a good amount of armor, it's still not the best hero to tank that tower hits with. None of them are really good tower tankers, so diving is always a big risk.
Yeah, he may be forgetting that he doesn't actually have remnants available right now to be able to go to. We saw mid lane just then as well. 144 actually goes down. So matchmaking does end up finding a kill. And that is thanks to Atau. Well, how the hell do you even pronounce it? We're going to say Sand King. He does come into the mid lane and help out the SF. So this will allow a lot of space for Lava to actually catch up a bit. And in fact, he is doing so right now. He's got the souls going up, but actually top lane, John. In is going in again, but he's under the tier 1 tower right now, and it looks like he should drop. The Sunstrike will end up connecting. Curse Crown could not actually help out that much, and now Lou has to back out safely. But I mean, this Ember, he's falling very behind, and he's giving way too much to this Magnus.
Yeah, absolutely, and not only that, even with dual lanes going out for the Dire, the puck in the offlane is really not getting anything. He's level 2, about to hit 3, but behind an XP compared to the Sand King, position 4/5. It's not a great offlane, and as an offlaner, you really just want to kind of be an annoyance at the same time get your XP. You want to hit your level 6 at a pretty good point, but this puck is not gonna reach it. Not maybe before 10, maybe by 12 minutes even at this pace.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the Luna. Velvet Thunder, like you said, free farming completely. He's got no competition. And this is due to the item build. Oh, actually, bot lane, John. Double RP comes out from Yizhu under the tier 1 tower as well. It looks like he will end up dropping, and they didn't actually go for the Magnus kill. So now Lou is trying to back off. Probably will get away safely. But a beautiful RP comes out from Mr. Yizhu. And he did skewer them back under that tier 1. And I mean, how many times has it been now? It's actually 4 times that Int main has died within the first... Well, it's not even 8 minutes into the game yet. Again, very, very bad news for the side of the Radiant.
Yeah, this is definitely not the start you want on a safe lane Ember. I mean, Ember Spirit as a hero really has a tight timer where he's really strong. Mid-game tapers off a bit until it gets ultra late where he can maybe get a Daedalus and a couple of Battle Furies, but before then, he has a weird sort of tempo.
Well, they're going again right now. Bot lane, Yizhu trying to back off. The Sand King is making the chase, does find the burrow, but I don't think he can find the right click here, and the raise comes in. Looks like Lava's had enough of this, and he's come to help out. Now the Sleight of Fist and the chains go onto the Jakiro, and it looks like Chris actually ends up going down as well. He did find the return kill onto the Sand King, mind you, after his death, but a nice little rotation. Finally coming out from this mid lane, and you can't blame Lava. Like, he's level 9 now. He's not had the best game in the world, but he does have to rotate to help out this bot. Like, they are not really dealing with this this dual lane of the Dio very well.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, they're behind in levels, they're behind in... maybe even slightly behind in farm in this bot lane for the Radiant, and it's really not what you want to see when you're... when you've got the safe lane Ember and you've been running a tri lane for the past 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's really bad. He is about to hit level 6, mind you, so he will have that escape or initiation mechanism. But even then, look how low he is right now. He doesn't have any regen to sustain himself. He does actually use the chains with the Sleight of Fist. But there is an RP available from Yizhu. He could go for this if Int overextends. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It does appear that Lo Yu will take over the lane for the time being and get a few levels on that Dark Willow. Meanwhile, mid lane, we do see a gank attempt coming out from the Sand King, but that Burrow Strike was only at level 2, so the range is very short. And even then, I don't think it would have gotten a kill. And John top lane, it looks like Emperor is in trouble again on the puck. He actually tries to orb out, but he's dead. Chris finds him, and that is actually the first time he's died this game, but he is only at level 3. About to hit level 4, but nevertheless, he is only at level 3, John.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's the first time he's died in this offlane, I'd say he's really not doing his thing as the offlaner. He's not getting XP, he's not disrupting farm.
Well,
so I wouldn't call this lane a success.
Well, looks like Lava is going to disrupt some farm. He's actually in range. Oh, the Sentry Ward!
Oh my goodness.
Oh my. I mean, he had so much time to get Chris. They will finally get him with Emperor. That will help out the levels and the gold quite a bit for the puck, but he's going to go down to Velvet. Velvet will pick up that kill. That's a double for him now. And now it looks like Sand King won't survive this either. The Cold Snap will cancel the TP. I mean, that Sentry Ward, John, he walked into it. It was just placed by Chris on the Jakiro. And I mean, what the hell do you do?
I don't know, like, I'm not even sure if Chris planned that out, because there was no reason to really drop that sentry. Oh, no. They did spot the SF going in, I think, with the Obs Ward by the T1, so they probably knew SF was coming in, and no. He didn't have a bottle.
I think
it was just a...
I think it may have injured the Sand King.
Yeah, the Sand King, but the Sand King was nowhere near close to that area. He was sandstorming by the staircase. The sentry doesn't reach there. So it's a really odd sentry to drop, but hey, it worked out. I mean, like, it wasn't planned, I'm sure.
Yeah, perhaps he just wanted to get an observer or something. I mean, he obviously it paid off. He saved his Luna from death. Actually, Yizhu bot lane again finds a kill. He might die this time around though. Although no, it's only the Sand King. I don't know if he can find this kill by himself. The RP is also available. TP. Stun is available in a second, but he couldn't find it in time. And there's the GG well played coming out from Magnus. A nice little bit of trash talk from Yizhu. But yeah, 8-12 right now. 4k net worth lead to the side of the Dire. Again, Velvet is continuing to free farm. He's very far ahead of everybody else. He's almost 6.5k net worth at 12 minutes in. And then you look at the Invoker, who's second, who's on his team, mind you. They will go for a kill onto Velvet. They use the Dream Core. The Brambles will not connect. And now he's going to turn around and man fight this. Now, that might hurt quite a lot. That Bedlam deals a hell of a lot of damage. And they will finally find the kill onto Velvet. So I would argue it's probably worth it. Unless they lose their life here to 144. The Terrorize actually cancelled due to the Cold Snap. And now I gotta say, I don't know if it is worth it. They got the Luna kill, but they dropped 2 heroes for it. And ultimately, Velvet is so far ahead right now anyway, that I don't think she's really going to care.
I think it was still kind of worthwhile. I mean, what else are you going to do? The Luna's pretty much free farmed. You have to slow down that farm any way you can. Granted, they did feed the Invoker enough gold for him to buy his Midas.
it feels like sometimes you just can't win, no matter which way you go. And like you said, the Midas has picked up now. So yeah, you stopped one person's farm for a good 30 seconds. But now you escalated another person's. And Velvet, he'll just rotate to that jungle and start farming that up. I mean, there's going to be stacks as well, I believe. Well, there aren't any quite yet, but the supports of the Dire should be starting to drop stacks for Velvet to farm those and escalate even faster. It may be one of the mistakes that the supports are making at the moment on the side of the Dire, is that they're not stacking, but ultimately it won't matter too much quite yet. Yizhu bot lane continues to farm. He's 100 gold off his blink. In fact, he's now 50. They are going to come in for a gank attempt. Now, this is beautiful timing if they can find it. Yizhu has overextended. The Brambles Maze comes out. And with that stun, Lich ulti as well to try and help out here. But he's dead. He goes down. He does not commit that RP. Now, Lol Yu commits the Bedlam as well. Can he find this kill? I don't think he can. But the rest of his team might be able to. He will find the Dark Willow. But they do end up getting Jelly anyway. And that is well worth it for the side of the Radiant. And John, I mean, that Blink Dagger was literally 50 gold away. He did get a bit greedy by going near that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit greedy. The Dire side doesn't have vision on bot lane, so it's really not too safe to push in when you don't have that good vision of that area. They do lose out. The blink is delayed, maybe by a minute, but it's still going to come out at a good time. Rather odd of of Magnus not to go for any levels in power. It looks like he really just wants the laning presence of Shockwave and Skewer, which is fine. None of their heroes really benefit from Empower anyway, from Cleave, although the bonus damage is always useful.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, like, there's not really a point. Everyone's ranged apart from the Magnus, but like you said, the bonus attack is good. Actually, top lane, John, there's a Terrorize and Brambles Maze that takes out 2. Velvet goes down as well as Chris, and to make matters worse, Velvet committed that Eclipse at the last second before he died. So now that's on cooldown as well. But more importantly, the Radiant end up getting 2 and a tier 1 tower mid. He may lose his life to 144 Dota though. But Sand King trying to make a run for it right now, 144. He's got the Sunstrike, does commit it, but it will not actually connect. And look at this, Lava is here. No, he has the Requiem available, he just didn't go for it, but he commits the Razors instead. And the Radiant actually making some waves in this game now.
Yeah, this is what they needed to do early on. They're starting to catch up. Luna's net worth gap is now not really that big. Maybe it's really not as big as it was a while ago, mainly because she died twice, giving a lot of AoE gold out to the Radiant.
I would agree with you. There's the couple deaths that she's suffered recently are really starting to affect her badly. Although she is at the top, but like you said, the gap is not there anymore, and that's what's really important right now for the side of the Dire. Top lane, Chris is getting jumped on as well from Emperor. Of course, Emperor hasn't farmed well, so he's not hitting very hard, and the Lich ulti will take him out, so Jelly picks that one up for himself. They do end up getting Chris, but it's not really worth losing your puck for that. And at the bot lane as well, John, we saw the Magnus again. He actually ended up finding the Sand King, although, of course, he has respawned by this point. But this game is going to be entertaining because it's so back and forth.
It really is quite the back and forth. I'm not sure which one really scales well until late. Both of them have their potential. If Puck picks up that Aghanims at some point, she will be relevant into the late game. If, Magnus is always relevant in the late game, so no matter what happens, the Dire have that big spell to play on. I mean, all of them seem to scale really well into a long game, so we'll figure it out. I'd say I'd give Dire a slight edge simply because Lich 25 is obnoxious.
Oh,
I mean, once you get that talent, once you get that plus 30 HP regen talent, it shouldn't be possible to push. It's almost impossible to push and chip away at towers.
Well, at the bot lane right now, John. Looks like our Magnus is in trouble. Yizhu will commit the RP, but it's only onto one. He still will be get away from this, it looks like, and now the rest of the Dire are here, but that Eclipse is going to hit absolutely nobody. To make matters worse, he gets rooted into place. The Sand King still surviving. He will end up dropping, but maybe they'll lose the Magnus. In fact, they do. Now the Requiem comes in. Lava, he plays like a god right now, John. He got absolutely everybody. And well, with that Bedlam, Chris isn't going to survive much longer either. He will go down. They'll give a double to Lava on that SF. And with that, 3 heroes, in fact, make it 4. Lava found another one. Jelly, he's going to cop the raises. Actually, Lava misses one of them. An unusual mistake, to say the least, for this man. But nevertheless, John, top of the net worth now for this SF. And I mean, he had a rough start, but he's caught up completely.
Yeah, he definitely has. And this is where you want your SF to be at this point in the game. At the very least, one of the Radiant heroes are doing well. I'd say it's still not as good as you'd want it to be, mainly because Ember Spirit's really so far behind. He doesn't have BOTs up, he has the Battle Fury up, but it's not going to do too much for him except let him farm. But key thing is really having Travels up so you can farm any lane.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be up for a while.
No, I mean, it is going to be a long time. The Battle Fury will still pay off a bit, I'm sure, but like you said, that boots of travel is going to mean it's still going to be a slow process. We did see, I mean, speaking of slow process, John, we saw Puck die again. So it's 1-6 now for Mr. Emperor. He's not having a great game. But Yizhu, always seemingly taking the advantage and picking off heroes where he can. And really, it does feel like a Magnus shouldn't be able to find these pickoffs. Bot lane, we saw 144 Dota make a jump onto the Ember, but Int does manage to get away. So, well, he'll have to commit to the jungle a bit. But things are still looking relatively even. The net worth gap has been closed quite a lot between both teams. It does appear the Dire are still slightly ahead, but not ahead enough to really matter that much. It does appear top lane though. Yizhu gonna make another chase. He's got the RP and the blink available to use. I don't even know if they'll find a pick-off though, even if the RP is committed. And actually, Lava finds 144 Dota at the bot lane. Now the skill back at the top. Emperor going to be in trouble. He will go down again. So now you have no Puck to defend this tier 1 tower. And it should be relatively easy pickings for the side of the Dire.
Yeah, it should be a fairly straightforward push. But they're going to have to trade their T1 at bot for this, which looks like they're not willing to. They TP in a couple of heroes.
Well, the Epicenter is going to take down Chris. Now here comes Yizhu. The tower's already gone, mind you, so Yizhu can't do much about this. He skews the wrong way as well, and will end up dropping to Lava again. Meanwhile, top lane, Terrorize was committed to defend that tier 1, and somehow in hell, the Radiant manages to defend this tower. So those rotations from Chris and Yizhu, a big mistake it feels. They could have just evenly traded, but that was not the case. They lost 2 heroes and a tower and got nothing out of it.
Yeah, I'm not. They really shouldn't have TP'd in. I feel like there was no defending that tower. Not with just 2 heroes. You'd need to throw out maybe 3 heroes, but once you do that, you lose your push up top. When they TP'd 2 heroes, they not only did they lose out on the push at top, they couldn't defend the bot. So it was really a big waste of time and a pretty good gold swing for the Dire side. SF is now far and ahead over Luna. And Ember Spirit's playing catch-up quite nicely.
Well, Lava, mid lane, the Yule's Requiem doing work for this SF. He will take down 144, which is, you know, really one of the strongest cores the Radiant has right now. In fact, sorry, it was the Dire, my apologies, but still, the Radiant are making, again, a lot of waves in this matchup. Yizhu, right now in the mid lane, trying to find some kind of RP attempt. Lava is there. That's a massive pick-off, but he's going to need a bit more help than just by himself. Oh, the escape finds him as well. He does blink out in time, but still, that's going to ruin a few things. And now the Radiant may just back off. They may understand that this is not a smart fight to take for them, especially knowing that Magnus is ready to go. And it does appear they'll stick around, but it looks like they're going to loop around, actually, through the shrine. Yizhu blinks in for the RP. He won't actually connect it at all. Won't even attempt it. Now the Ice Path goes in, but it does nothing. Brambles Maze as well. They're going to go for a team fight here. Yizhu still waiting. Dream Call comes in from Emperor. But who's really going to initiate this properly? The Macropyros, well, they want this Magnus gone. They'll go for the chains first. Int main gonna back off now. Velvet, he has the Eclipse ready to go, but still there's no target to go on. They'll get Lava first though. He's been rooted to place the Lich ulti as well. He's gone. And now the side of the die maybe feel more comfortable to go in, but the epicenter comes in from the Sand King. There's the RP. It's actually onto 3 heroes. Now the skewer back into the tier 2 tower. This is beautiful. Low Yu will be the target. He's used the Bedlam, but he should end up dropping here, and he will not quite yet. Velvet, he'll find a kill. Now they'll find even more, but the Dire are actually dropping. Sand King goes in. Now the Eclipse as well. Velvet finds that one. Can they find the Sand King? It looks like they can. It's a full team wipe going to the way of the Radiant, John. And I've got to tell you, that RP on the 3 and the skewer back into the tier 2, it looks like it made all the difference.
Yeah, it definitely did. That was a really good RP, and pulling them back to the tier 2 to let them cop a little bit more damage was really beneficial to the Dire for that fight. I think one of the key issues in that fight was that I believe Requiem was on cooldown. They were forcing a fight while Requiem was on cooldown. Without that talent, at 25, it's a pretty long cooldown at 100 seconds. So they were trying to force a fight without their main gigantic nuke from SF. The Sand King Epicenter was not as effective because the Blink Dagger is not there, so he has to channel it from very, very far away, which limits its efficacy. I feel like they need the Blink Dagger on the Sand King if they want to fight without Requiem.
I'd have to agree with you. I mean, the Requiem, though, it still feels like you should always have it. Like, the raises are good, the right-click's good, but at the very least, the Requiem makes it so your damage is reduced by 50%. That is a big deal in these massive team fights. Like, but it is, like you said, like, if he's not going to have that, they need to have that Blink on that Sand King ready to go. He did opt for the Yules first, which is a bit strange. Speaking of strange, Emperor goes down top lane. 144 finds that one. Meanwhile, Velvet, forced to use the BKB due to Low Yu. Now he'll go for Low Yu. Sunstrike will end up connecting as well. So 144 finds himself a double kill. Now bot lane, the Sand King goes in onto Chris on that Jakiro, but he could be in trouble. Ice Path does not end up connecting, but Yizhu is there. He skewers him back, perfectly positioned. He has the RP if necessary. The Epicenter gets channeled. He wants to find the return kills, actually, the double stun as well, but it's not enough. It looks like he will end up dropping, and now the big man, the SF, comes in. He'll find Chris at the least, but can he find Yizhu as well? He probably could, but he's not going for it. In fact, Yizhu goes for the RP, and he'll find the return kill himself. A double kill for this Magnus, and John, I've got to admit, it's well worth it for the RP committal.
Yeah, definitely is. No buyback in the SF. That's a full minute, 10 seconds where he's not going to be farming. He's not going to be pressuring your lanes, and he's not going to be doing anything. He just got his BKB, but he's not going to be up fighting for another minute. That's a minute of free farm, a minute where they don't need to worry about being blinked in duels. And it really slows down the pace of this SF by just taking him out of the game like this. SF is a very tempo-y hero. You want to maintain that pressure at all times. So being dead for this long, right after you buy your BKB, feels bad. It's really not what you want to happen. Have happen when you just buy your BKB. Obviously, you want to make use of it in big team fight, push your advantage, but what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if they had quick eyes as well on the side of the die, they would have spotted that. And, I mean, with that, they'll know now that there's a 10-second BKB available. Speaking of spotting as well, John, it looks like they've spotted out the Roshan being taken by Velvet. Side of the die aren't there to help out Velvet, though, with this. They're actually chasing the Sand King at the bot lane. They will skewer him back, though, so they may be able to find this, but no, they, in fact, will not. He will Burrow Strike out of there. But now the Roshan is being taken by Int main. Obviously, he can't take it very fast with an Ember Spirit by himself. They will jump in, though. Nice Chains goes out onto 2 in the back lines. There is no RP as well, so you've got to keep that one in mind. Maybe they'll just wait for that 20 seconds before they go back into the Roche pit. It seems like it'd be somewhat dangerous to do it without that RP. And Yizhu, I believe, thinks so as well. 10 seconds left. And they've waited long enough. Now the Roshan's being pinged out as well. And we will see if Emperor, actually Velvet, going after Int main top lane. We'll see if he wants to go into the Roche pit and help out. I mean, he needs to be there if they want to get this Roshan. And yeah, he's walking his way there. Eclipse and BKB is also up on Velvet right now, so he has everything ready to go. Yizhu in the pit as well, so he's not in the position to go for a nice RP, but their Lich is getting jumped on. Terrorize goes out as well. It will affect both of them. Roshan is so low, John. It's 600 HP right now. The side of the Radiant jump in as well. The RP is cancelled off, and now they will get the Aegis. Now the RP again cancelled. The Eclipse is there, but it's not going to matter. The Requiem goes out. Velvet is still trying to fight, and look at this. There's the RP. 144. He does a lot of work through that team fight. Can they take down Int Main again a second time? Well, actually, they might just drop to this. Int Main, no, he gets cold snap. He can't use his abilities. There's the slide. He'll find one, but it's not enough. It's a 5-for-2 trade. They got the Aegis and the Roshan, John, but I mean, Mr. 144 on that Invoker with the Chaos Meteor doing a hell of a lot of work for his team.
Yeah, those tight choke points are really a hard spot for the Radiant to fight into, mainly because there's an Invoker. A lot of his spells are really good in choke points like that. Tornado, EMP, Ice Wall, Meteor. All of them work really well when the enemy can't dodge them, so the Invoker works out really well along with Magnus. Although his RP was delayed by a fair bit, I feel like if they managed to burst down the Magnus, that entire fight would be a very different story.
Yeah, they seem to have focused more on just disabling him rather than focusing him down. Of course, that double RP at the end of the team fight, it meant a hell of a lot. So it was a bit strange to me that they didn't just focus him down, but I suppose the problem for them was that really Velvet was, BKB'd up with the Eclipse up, and they thought maybe we should eliminate this target rather than going for the Magnus. But if you think quickly during those team fights, John, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me here, but they had committed that Requiem, so the damage coming out from the Luna wasn't even that high because they had the 50% reduction anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it would have been fine to just ignore the Luna for a while. I mean, she still died very fast. Like, you should have taken a couple of seconds extra to really just kill off the Magnus instead.
Oh, bot lane.
Big issue.
Bot lane right now. Speaking of a big issue, John, it looks like Lava is being chased down. He commits his BKB, but, well, you've just lost your 9-second charge. And that was an overextension. In fact, he might lose his life anyway. Yizhu is there. He's got the RP available. He's run through the mid lane now. Emperor. Can he sense something's wrong? It looks like he may just be able to because he does orb out of there. Oh, and then now they spotted him out. Emperor, he's going to be feeling good about himself. That is some very nice game sense coming out from the puck. And Yizhu, he will not be able to find the RP that he wanted. Where's our main man with Velvet? What he's doing? Velvet is actually going for an Eye of Skadi. Not a bad pickup. How do you feel about the Eye of Skadi, John?
I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I mean, it's a good item on Luna. It's just that as a fourth item outside boots, I'm not too sure. I think a lot of Lunas still tend to go for, raw Agi first, which means they can butterfly. But at the very least, if you get the Skadi, you get a decent amount of stats and the slow, although I'm not sure how necessary the stats are, really. I mean, all she needs to do is stand a bit back and just right-click. I feel like a butterfly would help them more in pushing. If they manage to take a good team fight, they can melt the towers faster. But the Skadi is a bit more versatile in that sense.
Well, bot lane. 144 gets caught out on the Invoker. I'm not exactly sure what he was doing that far in. But he does get caught. And now, as well as that, they do find Gally, or Jelly, I should say, on the Lich. And they're going for even more now. Yizhu's in a bit of trouble. He tries to force stuff out. They did not use the orb to orb in, which was a bit strange on Emperor's part, but nevertheless, Yizhu does manage to get out of there. And it looks like they will end up backing off safely. You know, I was thinking perhaps she went for the Eye of Skadi on Velvet because maybe he doesn't want to get Yule's Requiemed by the SF. She was slightly squishy, but I mean, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's why Velvet went for that. I would have obviously agreed with you and said, you know, Butterfly is generally the next kind of item you go for on a Luna, but she must have a reasoning. Mid lane, it does look like Lo Yu will get caught out here. He does commit the Terrorize as well, but that Macro Pyre perfectly placed coming out from Chris. And he had no... What the hell else was he meant to do? He had nowhere to run.
Yeah, it's a rough time for Lo Yu. I would have probably just run into the trees. There's a nice little spot. Sure, it was right beside two heroes who terrorized, but they're terrorized. They're not gonna do anything to you. He should have probably run towards the Dart into the trees at the right side rather than just through the lane. It would have taken him a bit longer to get out, but at the same time, he probably could have lived through at least for a little longer. Either way, it's a bit iffy on that one.
Top lane, John. Looks like Lava. Again, he runs into these heroes, gets disabled, and is forced to BKB. Now, I'm not sure about this. He TP's out. Oh, the Yule's cancel. Coming out from 144. He commits the Requiem, but it's cancelled off again. He can't get it off in time. And these overextensions coming out from Lava. John, I don't know why he's doing this.
Yeah, it's rather questionable to be going in the jungle like that when you don't have wards to play aggressively. They have really defensive wards right now. They have a ward right by Roche and a ward up on top near the secret shop. A lane ward by bot. None of it is anywhere... Yeah, it doesn't give them control on the other side of the map. But SF has been playing on that side for a couple of times now.
We do see Chris go down to the bot lane, or top lane, I should... No, bot lane, my apologies. In almost dropped as well, and actually they're still fighting at the bot lane. It's like Emperor just trying to get out. There is no skewer available on Yizhu, and oh, the Yule's cancel coming out from Yizhu on the TP. He will phase shift and try to get out of this one. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they are taking a tier 2 tower with those siege creeps. But still, it looks like this Puck is able to get out successfully. Of course, Puck is a very slippery hero to say the least, and unless you have constant disable and you're willing to commit that RP, you probably aren't going to find that kill. So he does manage to get away. Notice 144. He is going for a Scythe of Vice, John. Now, is this a bit early for the Scythe?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good pickup. I think it's probably going to be for the Ember or the Puck. Like you mentioned, having to commit lockdown. I think that's going to help a lot in catching those two heroes out. The main issue is catching the Ember and the Puck. The SF is not really that hard to catch out. Even with the BKB, it's 6 seconds now. We've seen how many times he's popped the BKB defensively for a retreat. And it's short enough that even if he pops it and blinks away and tries to TP, or he walks for a bit before TPing, it's going to fade before the TP finishes, so you can still kind of keep him in place.
Yeah. Well, Int Main is going to find 144. A lot of damage comes out. He actually crit 144 for 750. But now he might lose his life. He does have remnants, I believe. I don't know where they are, but he does get back. He has gone for that Battle Fury double Daedalus build. And so that damage is going to start to escalate quite a lot. 144 has to be careful not to get caught out, but he does have eyes on Lava. But now, with the Yules and the Requiem, he does cancel it for the time being. Now the Dream Call as well, but 144, he can't get out of this one. He will end up dropping, and, well, that was a bit of a Lava moment. He overextends and goes out of position for really no reason and ends up losing his life. And, to make matters worse, he doesn't have a buyback available. His Midas is now off cooldown, so he'll have to wait another 75 to use that. It's just very inefficient play when you get out of position like that.
Yeah, it definitely is. He overcommitted for no reason. As you mentioned, it's the same thing Lava's been doing. Going into the enemy jungle with no real control over it, and trying to find pickoffs. I mean, sure, that's a nice thing to get, but you don't have vision, you don't have control, you don't know what you're going into. It's a very big risk. Like, take a look at Lava right now. He's doing it again, going into the dire bot jungle with no vision up. It's a really risky move here. If he gets caught out, it could spell disaster.
Well, they are going to go for Yizhu mid lane. The Requiem will blow him up pretty much with the Aghanim Scepter as well. So a nice pick off for them. But I have to agree on what you were just saying, John. Like, he went in, he did scan, so he did know somebody was there farming the jungle, and it was in fact Velvet on that Luna. But I agree with you. Like, walking in like that with no, no vision, no real way to initiate apart from that Blink Dagger, it's just not the kind of plays you really want to make this at this stage of the game, where it could cost you a Rax or two if you're not careful. Mind you, they're going to go for a Rax themselves. There will be a respawn coming up on 144. They're going to jump straight onto Chris on that Jakiro. Here comes Velvet at the front lines, and the Lich ulti goes out as well. It is still bouncing, and actually Lava is in massive trouble. He could go down, but the Dream Coil goes out onto 2. A lot of damage coming out onto Yizhu, but they have lost Lou already on the side of the Radiant. The SF did manage to get out, so Lava's gone. That was a very close call for him. Looks like Int Main is still trying, and he does find the Magnus. Now he's trying to make a run for it, but it doesn't look like he's getting out. He didn't have any remnants ready to jump when he needed to. And so they will lose 2 heroes for 1. And I would argue that's generally not what you really want to achieve when you're making a high ground push.
Yeah, definitely not. They do manage to expend... Actually, they don't even force out the Dart to expend anything. The Eclipse is up, RP is up. The only thing they really lost out on was Lich Ult, which isn't that long for cooldown, 60 seconds. It's going to be back up by the next time they force a team fight, so nothing major lost there for the Dart, except for maybe the dieback on Magnus, but it shouldn't be an issue. He's going to be up in a minute, and RP is up, so they could force Roshan out, they could take a tier 2, maybe a couple of tier 2s, and they'd be none worse for the wear.
I think they are trying to rush a bit as well on the side of the Radiant, because they realize that, level 25 Lich is going to be a real problem to deal with that plus 30 HP regen, like you mentioned at the start of the game. And, I mean, you can't blame them, right? Because it is going to be almost impossible to push into that if they don't hurry up a bit with this game.
Yeah, it's a real pain. I've been in that situation before myself, where we've managed to take a 2-lane, 2 racks advantage, but we can't push up. No, not even just 2 racks. We had mega creeps we couldn't push in because it was a sniper Lich.
That's pretty disgusting. We do see Lou go down on the Dark Willow. They will actually get the Aegis as well, so Velvet picks that one up for himself. The cheese looks like it will go to the Lich for the time being to hold for them. They do make their way up to the top lane where Lava was pushing in, trying to ensure that they don't really have the opportunity to just, push straight after the Aegis is recovered by them. So Velvet will focus on pushing at that top lane. Mind you, there are still 3 tier 2s available on the Radiant end, so it's not like they can really go for a Rax quite yet, unless they win a big team fight. They are going to have to commit to just getting a bunch of tier 2 towers. And although that will escalate the economy quite a bit for them, it's still not great news. Like, you generally want to be able to try and go high ground at 40 minutes in with an Aegis. Actually, bot lane. They found Yizhu. In fact, no, it's Lava who's overextended again. Now, the RP committed. Oh, the Cyclone, though, it's not well done. They do commit the Ice Wall. Now the Scythe Device and the Chaos Meteor will find this kill. And so, although the RP was wasted, it's still well worth it for the sake of getting Lava on that SF. And, I mean, John, it's the same story over and over again. The man keeps overextending on this hero.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to do that, he has to have a couple of wards, definitely, by whichever jungle he wants to walk into. It would work out if he does. I feel like he can find the pickoffs he wants with vision, but without it, he's just going in blind, he's risking his life, he gives away his life for no real good reason.
Yeah, well, guess who else is going in blind right now? Velvet. He actually is going in blind, but he's doing quite well of it. Lou goes down. He does not lose the Aegis either, and they'll keep going for this. Although they may lose their Lich in the process, Jelly is in a bit of trouble. Velvet comes in trying to help out. The Epi does really nothing. He's in the air anyway. Velvet getting very close to dropping, but almost drops the Ember anyway. And they will find 2 kills for the moment. A buyback is forced out by Lava as well. And they're going to be very, very happy with this. Understanding they can go reset now and go for another team fight while still holding that Aegis. It's a great little advantage for the side of the Dire.
Yeah, it definitely is. They do expend the cheese on the Lich though, but it's not a big issue.
Oh, they might actually drop here. They do end up losing Chris, and now, well, Jelly is quite low himself. An overextension again, to say the least, the Dire. I don't know why they stick around at this low of a HP. Now they're being chased down again. Yizhu is the next target. He can't get out of there quite yet. Now the skewer, but the puck blinks in front. And the dream call. He actually takes it to his advantage. They will take down Yizhu. 144 is the next target, and he goes down as well. And I've got to say, Emperor played that perfectly. He blinks into the skewer. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely was. Being dragged along by the retreating Magnus is really helpful. I'm not sure if that was on purpose though, but it's a happy little accident, to say the least.
Looks like top lane, that will be the target of the Radiant. They'll push in, and now Velvet trying to defend as best he can. Rage is copying a bit of damage, but Velvet is more so. The macro is also dropped. Velvet, he's going forward again. He doesn't care about this. He's actually healing up with all these glaives. He finds Lol Yu. Now he's chasing Emperor as well, and Lava is forced to back off. So they do force out a couple ultis and the BKB of Velvet, but they do not manage to get the tier 3 tower. Look at the lines being drawn out right now as well, John. They want to go straight through the mid lane. And I don't know if it's a really good idea without the Magnus being up, but it looks like that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy time without that RP. They do have the refresher up on Magnus, but does he have the mana pool to cast it? It looks like he, excuse me, it looks like he does have the mana pool to cast double RP. So he should be okay, as long as he doesn't cast anything else. But he should be fine. He should be fine. They do have that option. The double RP is up, and that's going to be a big issue for the Radiant.
It really, really is. Especially if they lose Lava right now, although Eclipse is the one in trouble. Here comes 144, now the Ice Path as well as the Chaos Meteor. They're going for this, a big team fight. The BKB Requiem is committed, but the Aegis is still available. It will now be triggered. Now the RP, it's onto the Ember Spirit. Can they take him down though? The double RP onto him. They will finally get him. They'll rush for the Sanking as well, and he's gone. A beautiful team fight from the Dire side, and again, John, I'd hate to say it, but an overextension coming up from the Radiant end.
Yeah, they really like going way too deep without vision. All their wards right now are defensive now as well. Like, they've warded the spot by right behind the T2 on bot, that jungle area, which honestly is not doing anything for them. The Dire side is not walking into their side of the map. They really aren't gaining anything by having a ward there.
And look at this. I mean, Lol Yu also gets caught out for no reason. I mean, he does end up dropping. He has buyback, but why go down like this? I just don't understand why they go in one by one against a team that can really abuse that. I mean, you've got a double RP, you've got a Luna, you've got an Invoker. They can all take advantage of you overextending. I don't think they're going to stop. They're going to go for this tier 3 tower with a double damage Luna. And look how fast they take it, John, with those Empowers as well. There's no point in these buybacks because they can't get there in time. There will be a route onto the Ember, and Chris for that matter. Chris, it looks like he will end up dropping for his team. Not that he's really going to care too much. Although top lane as well, it was being pushed in by the Sand King, but he's not very good at sieging towers. So although he pushes the creep wave in, it will be defended. And now look at this, Yizhu. He's looking for this return kill again. He has the skewer available. Mind you, there's no RP for 20 seconds, but he's going to continue the chase for the time being. And with those Yules, he can really delay this quite a long time. But he will be forced to back off and not overextend. And at the bot lane, why is Emperor there on the puck? Cyclone. Oh, it does end up missing, but Velvet is on his tail. He gives up on it. These are very, very risky engagements they're making on the Radiant end.
It really is. I mean, sure, Puck is a very slippery hero. At this point in the game, though, they have ways of dealing with it. I mean, the Sight of Vice is there for Invoker. If Puck just stayed in Vision for a bit longer, they wouldn't be able to escape.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, that Scythe of Vice, he cops it once, he's dead. And that's what I don't quite comprehend. If you see 144 coming towards you, you need to get the hell out of there ASAP. Because he's not only has he got so many ways to disable you before he uses that Hex, but he has the initiation as well. And speaking of, he goes in. 144 could be in trouble, though. He gets cycloned up himself. Now the Requiem, it's going to be on 2, and they will cop it, although actually it's all avoided because of the BKB. And the Yules, and now the Dream Core. It looks like the Dire this time around has overextended a bit. Cyclone comes out, the Epicenter is there from the Sand King. And now, oh, the RP! Oh. It's on to 5 heroes, but there's no follow-up, John. No, the Skewer into the Chaos Meteor. It might be enough. In fact, no, it's not. He's going to go down, but Yi Zhu. Oh, my. What a play from him. You don't see the 5-man too often. They're going to go for more here. They'll find the Invoker. The Radiant are finally finding something and they'll get it. And John, I don't know why they overextended on the Dire this time around.
Yeah, that's the story of this game so far, Mike. It's just going a bit too far, a bit too deep without protection, without, rubbing it down a bit first. It's just raw. Every single time it just goes in raw. And it's not been working out for either side.
No, it hasn't. It really, really hasn't. Well, look, at the very least, you got to see a goddamn beautiful RP. I mean, it's been so long since we got to see a 5-man. Yi Zhu. He's been playing fantastic this game. He really, really has. I haven't seen him had a bad RP this whole game. And let me tell you, John, as a Magnus player, it's not so easy to make have a game where you've made 0 mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. There was so much potential in that RP. If only they had a little bit more with him in that fight. Like, it was just, for the most part, it was just Magnus and Invoker. If they had maybe at least the Jakiro or the Lich along with him, not even having the Luna, just one of those supports, it would have been full team white right there.
It's just, you wish, you kind of like, if you're in the Dire end, you wish that Velvet was alive. I mean, those glaives, that Eclipse, he would have just destroyed them. It felt like that Chaos Meteor could have done the job, but it was just too late. I don't even think the Invoker was expecting it. 144 must have been like, what the hell? He copped the 5-man. Well, let me get back in there, but it was all too late. Now the Roshan's being taken, mind you, John. The Radiant are taking advantage of this, and this is exactly what they need to be doing right now. The Dire, I believe they're a bit too afraid to go in, considering they just expended a bunch of buybacks on their team. Now
That's a refresher shard as well.
Yeah, and it's gone on to the SF to make matters worse. So now he's going to have that double Requiem. So even if he doesn't find the Luna because of the BKB, he could go for it a second time. It's really painful, to say the least. And look at this. Ember Spirit, he picks up a Divine Rapier. He has had enough.
Oh, goodness.
And John, we've seen this so many times over the past few days.
Ooh.
How does it make you feel?
This time it's a bit more sensible, Mike. Yeah, it's not something that really just makes you go out with a question mark. It's a bit more sensible. The Ember Spirit is pretty much slotted up. His progression's locked in, and they do need a little bit more damage. I feel like the Divine is kind of justifiable here.
John,
although it's still...
Lane. Sorry, look at bot lane, John. They're going onto Lava right now. It looks like he might just drop on Empire. Or Emperor, I should say, in trouble, but Lava will end up dropping. That's the Aegis gone, but here comes the Ember. He gets 144 with the crit. Can they get him, though? Oh, the RP's there. He has the double as well. Can they get it? They already lost the Ember Spirit, though. He'll get away. They'll find Lava at the least, but the one they wanted is the Ember Spirit. The Divine Rapier was on him. He got an Aeon Disc, though. And that is a very clever pickup, I feel, before actually getting the Divine Rapier. It means that even though you RP him, he's going to be able to get out of that stun and back the hell out of there immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. The Aeon Disc is really helpful for that, and it's really good in someone like Ember because he can just escape so easily. So it's quite a good item on him. But yeah, so this is the point where your Ember probably could be justified for picking up a Rapier, and they can pretty much hold for a very long time now. The issue is the moment Ember dies. Again, that's the issue when you go with Divines, right? When you're dead, it's over. For the most part, it's pretty much guaranteed to be over if someone like the Luna picks it up. Even if the Magnus picks it up, it's gonna be a really hard time getting it back.
Yeah, it's going to be exceptionally hard. We'll see what happens. I mean, Int Main, he's had a decent game so far, 13 to 8 and 13. He is being relatively safe, like we mentioned, with the Aeon disc as well. So he's got that added security, but he has to be so careful not to get caught up by like a Hex or something. There is a bit of talking going on as well while we wait for this pause to end. Ironically, Lava's saying don't push blindly. Have anything to say towards that, John?
Measure your words.
Measure your words, indeed.
Yeah, that's all to say. Why no vision, Luna? Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
Well, while we've got a spot of time, John, because for anyone that doesn't know, the reason why we're not skipping the pause right now is because it always screws up the replay. And not only that, but then me and John will be out of sync. So we're not skipping the pause, but while we've had this bit of time, thanks for the people watching. We hope you enjoy. Tostrus is here, at the very least. We saw him in the chat. So welcome. Hope you're enjoying. We'll be casting an actual tournament in about 5 days from now. So hopefully you guys will have some friends to talk to in about 5 days in the chat. But for the moment, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Back to the game though, John. Who the hell's winning right now is my question to you.
It's hard to say. Radiant is ahead in terms of farm. They are behind in terms of objectives. And I'd say overall, as it goes into the late game territory, it's going to favor the Dart just a bit. As I mentioned, Lich 25 is up, so if they do chip damage to tower, it won't matter, Mike. It's not going to be unhealable damage. It's just going to be fixed up by this Lich with his spammable ice armor. It's, oh my god. That's frustrating.
It's upsetting you, John. I can hear it in your voice.
It is, because you can't end the game when there's a Lich on the other side. But not only that, the Dire also has the RP. You know, it's always relevant. It goes through the BKB. And just because it's probably one of the only BKB piercing spells in this game right now, on top of Aghanim's Puck, which is not up, the team fight advantage is going to go to the Dire.
It is interesting. I mean, it is hard to tell, but I do have to agree with you. Like, it's going to be so painful to push uphill. Mind you, the Divine Rapier could help quite a lot, right? Because they can actually push very quickly. But, you know, at the same time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have the Divine on Ember Spirit, but he's not going to hit towers well. I mean, he's not like a fantastic raw right-clicker in terms of attack speed. He has pretty abysmal, attack speed at 25. He hits every 0.94 seconds. That's really slow for a core. But that's just how Ember Spirit goes. He tends to, really depend on Sleight of Fist to do a lot of his damage. So his raw right-clicks are just not fast enough to really push down a tower fast.
No.
It's going to be a bit of an issue. Your best tower hitter is probably someone like the SF, but even he's more of a damage dealer as well. I mean magic damage dealer, so he's not going to be getting that much more effective on towers because his focus is on magic damage. He does, 200 damage per right-click? It's 246. It's not great. But he is a magic SF, so his focus is not on the physical. It's just going to be a hard time pushing in with the way they've itemized.
And we do always see this, don't we, John? Like, the recent SFs we've seen, every single time, they never go for that hybrid or pure right-click build. They always go for the magic. And these are high-level pubs as well. Like, we're not watching 3K pubs right now. We're actually watching Ancients and Divines. There must be a reason why they enjoy the magic build so much.
I think it's because it's it goes online really fast, and it does a lot more damage than physical early on. I mean, you tend to just abuse the raises, and once you have your blink Yules, you just blow someone up with Requiem as well. It's just very efficient in the early game. It accelerates your farm, lets you spam raises when you're jungling, because you have that Yules for the mana regen. I think those are the main reasons, but it stopped scaling at some point. Usually games don't last long enough for you to stop scaling, but when you go past 1R, when everyone has a BKB and enough lockdown to hold you down, that's where it starts becoming an issue. Because take a look at SF's items. He has 2 defensive items, the Aghanims, a Yules, which is a mix, and a Blink. He doesn't have anything really boosting up his right click, nothing to really boost his raw HP or raw armor. It's 2 defensive items, one that blocks, single target spells, another one which gives him magic immunity, but it's kind of a moot point when you're playing against a Magnus who doesn't really care for BKBs.
That is a very good point. This is, I mean, there are a few mistakes being made, and obviously for us, we can kind of look at it in hindsight because we can see everything. But it is obvious as well, like you mentioned, the BKB doesn't matter to Magnus. He doesn't give a crap about that. It is right in saying that perhaps Lava should be being a bit more defensive rather than offensive, but, it's one of those things in pub games, right? You want to be the hero. You want to be that guy at the end of the game where everyone says, oh my god, SF best player ever. There will be a big team fight bot lane, John. Now, this is going to be a big one. Look at Yizhu. He's in position right now. Int main has to be so careful not to lose that Divine Rapier. He actually didn't get any lucky crits either, which is rather unfortunate. 2 Daedalus, no crits on the hero. That's pretty standard Dota for you. Forgot to mention, of course, the Alacrity on the Luna is going to hurt quite a lot, to say the least. Especially if your backdoor protection can't hold it. And well, that's a tier 2 gone without any creeps. Question is, will they go for more? Well, we're about to find out. The answer is no, John. They have to go back top lane and defend. Mind you, John, this tier 3 tower at the top lane hasn't gone down at all due to the fact that they have Jelly on the Lich.
Yeah.
Actually, Lava he does back off. Now, there are only 3 heroes, but Yizhu is there. They are going for the gank onto Velvet right now. He's in a bit of trouble, though. He's fighting against everyone. There's the, what the hell do they even call that, John? That damn skill. It is the Cataclysm, my apologies. Yeah, they're going onto the puck right now. Terrorize goes on the stun as well, onto 2. Can they find any kills right now? The Cyclone goes in as well. And here comes the Chaos Meteor. Intman, he'll finally actually find Jelly. Can he get more, though? The RP still hasn't come out either. The Burrow Strike, the Requiem coming out from the SF. He's trying to blow up this Magnus, but he's going to get blown up himself. Yizhu looking for more. He's going to get the Dark Willow. Skills him back. There's the root as well. And Lol Yu almost dead. But there's the crit coming in from Int main. Now the epicenter as well. And the buybacks are coming out. Who's actually winning this team fight, John? I don't know quite yet, but it looks like the Dire aren't willing to buy back. They lose Velvet as well. And now Invoker will be the next target. Here comes the RP. He catches 2. It's pretty decent, but it's not decent enough. Now the 3-man RP, but where's the follow-up? He's hexed up the Invoker. There's nothing there. The Deafening Blast, they still haven't got the Ember. Now Empire comes in. He gets killed off, though, and now they'll get the Sand King as well. The buybacks are finally coming in from the side of the Dire. They at least got a dieback going onto the Sand King, but again, John, who the hell won that team fight? I don't know.
It's really hard to say. Both teams had to expend buyback there. Overall, both teams actually lost more gold than gain it. The Radiant did only have 2 buybacks, whereas the Dark side had to expend 3 buybacks, and one of them was on Luna, which is a really big one. So if Luna dies now, it's going to be a very hard time for the Dark side. At the same time, everyone's just buying back now. It looks like they really want to get something done here.
Indeed. The Roshan is not up yet. Still got a minute and 10. And, well, these buybacks, John, I'm not sure about these. There was no point to them, especially for the side of the Radiant. It does absolutely nothing for them. It looks like they're trying to see if the Roshan's been taken from the side of the Dire, but, well, it's still not there yet. Are they going to go for a push? I mean, this is not a good idea. There's no buybacks available on the side of the Radiant for this. They've only got the Ember that can buy back. Mind you, the Dire only has the Invoker that can buy back. And well, here we go. They jump onto Yizhu, but he does manage to 4-staff out. Velvet. Waiting around calmly. Oh, I should mention while we're waiting, Tostrus, the open qualifiers, yeah, 100% we can do them without any permissions. Closed qualifiers is a different story. So we can do them, but to get paid, you have to kind of get, you know, assigned to the job. So that's the one you want, the closed qualifiers, that is. But yeah. And thanks for the recommendations, Popcorn Yellow. We are taking into account some scheduling to try and make something of that kind of idea happen. But we'll see how it goes over the coming month. Looks like bot lane. SK going to be in trouble right now. Velvet is there as well as Yizhu. They missed the skill, but it doesn't matter too much quite yet. Can they stop this Sand So many Yules are going on, John. They want this Sand to fly. He believes he can as well. They get him, but John, the Roshan's being taken right now, and they're not going to be there in time to actually stop it.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough one. They trade away the Sand King with no buyback for Roche. I think that might be worthwhile. I'm not sure in the end. They're going to be playing 4v5 for 100 seconds.
Well, if this puck dies, it's going to be 5v3, John. Will he get out of this one? He does blink, but there's the Hex. He did buy back before, so this is not good news if he drops. The Aeon Disc is helping him. The Sunstruck, they will spot him. Can they cancel the TP? Yes, they can! Oh my god! That was literally a millisecond. Now the phase shift as well. They're still going for this. They realize how important it is. The Cyclone misses. Emperor, can he get out?
Ooh.
Skewer.
Ooh.
Oh my. He does blink.
Ooh.
The Great Escape is here. Velvet is making the chase, though. The Shivers Guard, he is actually going to make it.
Oh, man.
If he died there, that would have been absolutely massive for the side of the Dire. Having two heroes in the opposing team with no buyback available, that would have almost been a guaranteed, probably, finish of the game.
Yeah, it would have been. At the same time, that kind of movement from Puck kind of paid off. They bought enough time for Sand King to actually respawn by the next fight that breaks out, so him dying with no buyback became basically a non-issue.
Mr. Emperor. Got a full nullifier up now as well. Things are getting a bit heated. We're 64 minutes in, John. It's one of the longer games we have to cast, but to be absolutely fair, every game seems to be over an hour for us with these replays. Which is, you know, can be quite painful. Nevertheless. No, Rax is taken as well. 64 minutes in. This could be due to the fact that there's a Lich on the map as well, as you've stated before. And actually, 144, he went really deep for this, and I don't know about that. He gets credit for 1.8k. John, why?
I know, there seems to be something with these players in the fact that they always they don't want vision, Mike. They probably have the same eyesight as I have, which is really bad. I have no vision. I can't see what's going on right now, to be honest. I'm just making all of this up as I go up. I mean, I can't see my screen, Mike. I'm pretty much blind. You're talking to a blind person here.
Oh, good. That's good to know. Thank you for instilling confidence in me and the crowd, John. I always appreciate it. Looks like Emperor, oh my, he gets rooted into place. Now the Ice Path as well. Why are they moving so forward like this? He does back off. And now, well, Lava, he charges the Requiem bot lane. He wants to go for a team fight. Oh, the RP's onto 2, though. He can refresh this. He has done so as well. Where's the other RP? It doesn't even matter. The Radiant are dropping right now. And well, the Magnus will back off. He has been hexed up, and no crit for him. He will be able to go heal. They still have lost not one tier 3 tower. And well, somehow in hell, they only lose the Sand King through all this. They might go for 144. 144 in ghost form right now. He's looking for more. There's the root onto the Ember. This is massive. The RP's there. This could be a Divine Rapier, and well, he has an Aegis. Can they take him out? Oh my goodness, he gets hexed up. There's the Aeon though, he swapped it in time. The Ice Path is there. Now the Chaos Meteor, he gets out of there just in time. The Requiem goes out. They've still lost a couple. In fact, he did end up dropping. Where's the Divine Rapier? I think he got out of there safely though. 3 down for the side of the Radiant. The Divine has been reclaimed. He actually died across the river and picked it back up after the buyback.
Oh god, that was pretty terrifying. That was definitely not what he should have fought. Imp Main should not have been there, but he was, and greed probably got better for him.
Yeah, now they're going for a Rax though, John. The Dire side. There's 2 buybacks not available. In fact, there's 3. The Sand King can't either. Lava's already calling GG War played. Velvet, he's going to back off safely. In fact, no, the Burrow Strike there in time, but the root, no, the crit. In main, making it happen. They needed to take that Divine off him. Now they'll go for more. Can they get the Lich? I mean, it's not that big of a target, but at the very least, you get everyone you can. There's no buybacks available on the Luna either. But meanwhile, bot lane, look at what 144 is doing right now. He's taking that tier 3 tower. He might get caught out. The Tornado misses. Now the Hex as well. He wants to just get the hell out of there. And it looks like he will do so successfully. Now, well, it looks like the Sand King Ice Path through the Tornado as well. Can they take him out? It looks like they probably can. He can't blink out of this one. The Hex is there as well. And this is no buyback again on the Sand King. Now here comes Int Main, but unless he gets that lucky crit, he can't find these kills.
Yeah, it's not quite enough. He does pull back, but Sand King dead again. It's really, really hard for Radiant to keep holding and keep forcing these team fights without the Sand King opening. They really depend on him. The Puck has... I'm not sure about the itemization of the Puck, honestly. Sight, Shiva's Guard is good. I mean, all these items are good in Puck. I just feel like she probably wants an Aghanim's just for the BKB piercing capability. Have some control through the BKBs. Because once they pop their BKBs, there's really nothing on the Radiant side to control them.
My goodness, what a game we're watching, John. It's just so damn exciting to watch at the least. We're 69 minutes in, and there's the second Divine Rapier. At this stage, John, I don't think you disagree with this pickup.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm not sure what you swap out, though. I guess... Yeah, well, to be fair, I guess when you're doing that much damage, you don't really need to cleave it.
I suppose the Battle Fury may have been also worth it. It's not like they have the Magnus on their team to be able to give him that Empower. So, again...
Yeah, I mean, maybe he swaps out the Crystals for Battle Fury. I'm really not sure when it comes down to the numbers, which one's more efficient. Better players would probably know better. I think they'd actually put the Battle Fury in the backpack, I think, at this point. They'd keep the crit. I'm not sure. Or, yeah, I'm really not sure about how the numbers work here. I guess the crit does more overall. I mean, it would be nice to cleave the damage, though. He does swap in the travels. So I guess that answers that.
Yeah, I guess the thing is as well, you got to depend on people to be close by each other to actually get the cleave damage. So maybe he's going for that reliable damage over the unreliable damage of the Battle Fury cleave. Which, I mean, if you look at it that way, I guess it seems a lot better. He has actually got another Demon Edge as well, John. I mean, is he going for another Divine Rapier?
I honestly wouldn't blame him if he was. At this point in the game, 2 Raxes behind against Luna, Magnus, and a Lich holding their high ground, healing up all those towers. I mean, they've done no damage to these towers, Mike. None. You wouldn't tell. Look, 1,600 out of 1,600. Every single one. Not a scratch. Even if they did scratch, it doesn't matter. Lich is there. 30 HP per second.
Seems balanced, John. Seems very, very
balanced.
balanced.
It absolutely is. No problems here, Mike.
Bot lane, it looks like it will get pushed in again by the side of the Dire. They're going to try and close off this game. Can they do it though? 144. He gets started. He clears out that creep wave, but, well, so does Int Main. Both teams not wanting to waste any more time. Yizhu, what's he picking up? He just gets a TP scroll. Very smart man. You always carry a TP on you, even if we are 71 minutes into the game. And, well, he's going to come back down. Although the team isn't together. 144 goes to the top lane now. He's got 20 seconds for his TP boots to be up, so not the worst in the world, I guess. He's protecting his team from getting, raxed while they're not watching. But
I don't think they're under any pressure of being raxed right now. They could really just go all in at this moment and force a team fight. They've got the double RP up. They've got the Luna ult up. They've got everything up. And as long as they don't get critted out, or if they somehow manage to control the Ember Spirit, it should be no problem. Now, I've checked chat. Apparently, Mr. Jong, Mr. Crest Dota, suggests to the Ember to take off the Aeon, which he has done. Swapped it in for the boots. So it's a bit riskier, but he has a bit more mobility and all that good stuff. I guess you can just swap in the Aeon disc when you're going into a fight anyway.
I guess it's just a matter of how good of a player are you to make it work, right? It's risky, like you said, but it can pay off a lot. We'll see if Jong was right about that decision, or if he's completely wrong. Well, they will jump in. Hex is onto 144. He overextended again, John. He could get taken down here. Now, he doesn't have buyback for another 30 seconds. Oh, and the crit. Oh, the RP comes in, though, to save the day. A 3-man. He skills them back as well. Now there's double RP. But is it enough? He's expended all these RPs, but nobody's there to help out. Now the Eclipse comes in. The Luna's going to try and do the job. Lava is almost dead, and it looks like he will be. Now the... Well, damn it. I keep forgetting the name of that skill. The damn... whatever it's called. Cataclysm. Thank you, John. The crits are coming out from the Ember. Now the Hex from Lava comes in. They can't take anyone out, though. 144. The Aegis is gone. A beautiful crit comes in onto 2, but the Aegis is on Velvet. He'll go for more. The Lich ulti as well. Does a lot of damage at this stage. But can Velvet fight this? I don't think he can. He's getting crit 2. No, he has a Satanic. He does a lot of damage. Matchmaking. Trying to do something. Hit the man. Right click him. What are you doing? The skill is there. It looks like they'll take him out. 2 down with no buyback. The Divine Rapiers are on the deck, John, and there's nothing left for this Radiant end, I think. Yizhu is continuing the chase. It looks like it might just be all over. The Sand King is left, but he's gone. In fact, no, he's not quite yet. The Burrow Strike is there. GG calls are being made. I don't know how you stop a double Divine Luna, though, John. It looks like they'll finally find the Sand King. And, well, he's gone. And at 74 minutes in, this should be GG well played unless a miracle happens and he's not in the game right now. And, well, Sand King, you're just going to melt to those glaives. And that Ancient, well, for the moment is safe due to the Terrorize. But it can only last so long. Lol Yu is going to drop RP as well onto the puck. They just want to take down the whole team, and they will with the Cataclysm. And that's it. It's all over. It's 74 minutes and 25 seconds in, John. Oh my.
That was pretty painful. Like, at the end, they had the items to deal with Luna. They had 2 nullifiers in their team. But the moment they used them, it seems like they were running away. Ember was not committing to the right clicks. The moment the nullifier stopped, Luna just pops her Satanic, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter anymore. No. It was unfortunate. They could have had it. If they won that fight, I don't think it would have ended yet. I mean, buybacks were up. But would have helped, they could still hold. But they were pretty much pushed to the back. I mean, chipping away in those towers would have been so hard. So hard with that Lich round.
Yeah. But you got to give it to them, John. The Dire do pull it off in the end. Yizhu, I mean, if I was going to pick an MVP, Mr. Yizhu, Jesus Christ. What a Magnus.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was definitely on the back of Magnus. A lot of really good RPs that game. A 5-man RP, which I don't think I've seen in outside of pro games. Even in pro games, I don't think I've seen it in quite a long time, Mike.
It's a unicorn, John. You don't see it very often, but when you see it, it's beautiful. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first cast of the day, by the way. We've got a couple more to go today. So we'll be back. Generally speaking, I have to turn off the stream and turn it back on. so we can save the specific VOD for the person that handed it in. I would like to address though, John, for anyone wondering, and I believe it was Tostrus who mentioned this in the chat about ESL screwing us over last time. Don't worry, we're casting ESL in 5 days. Nobody screwed anyone over. We don't particularly give a shit about what anyone thinks, so we'll be casting ESL in 5 days. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to, make it entertaining for everybody. But until then, we're going to be doing these replay casts and essentially practicing for that event, because we've been, somewhat rusty ever since, the Epicenter casters competition happened, John.
Yeah, it's been a bit dry since then, so we got to get back into our groove, Mike. Our groove.
In the groove, John. What better way than to cast community replays?
Oh, absolutely.
But we'll be back. The stream will be back up in about 10 minutes. If you don't stick around, thank you for watching. If you do, we'll see you in about 10. But like I said, the stream will be offline for about 10 minutes or so, and we'll be right back with you guys in 10 minutes. Be right back.